You're not building a physique with office supplies. Let's stop pretending resistance bands are the holy grail of muscle growth. They're portable, they're trendy, and they make your home workouts look cooler on social media, but they're not going to forge real strength. Somewhere along the way, the fitness world started acting like bands could replace barbells, as if stretching a giant rubber band is the same as hoisting hundreds of pounds of steel. It's not. Not even close. Bands have their place, but if your goal is to build dense, powerful muscle that actually lasts, you need to lift real weight. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, just old-school resistance that fights you every inch of the way. So if you're ready to stop pretending and start training, let's get into it. Here's where the illusion starts to crack. Resistance bands might look like they're doing the job, but when you break down the mechanics, the difference is massive. Real muscle isn't built on tension that only kicks in halfway through a movement. With weights, the resistance is there from the second you pick it up to the moment you rack it. Your muscles don't get a break, they're forced to grind through the entire range. That's what builds strength. That's what builds grit. Bands, on the other hand, let you off easy at the start. There's barely any resistance at the start, right when your muscles should be fighting to move the weight. That soft entry point, it cheats you out of real progress. And the worst part? You might not even realize it. You feel the burn at the end of the rep, the band is tight, and it tricks you into thinking you're crushing your workout. But that burn doesn't always mean growth. Real hypertrophy comes from loading the muscle through its full range, especially the part that sucks the most. That's where the growth lives. Bands skip over that pain zone and serve you the resistance after the hard part is over. If you're training for convenience, fine. But if you're training to actually build something, strength, muscle, confidence, then you need to stop settling for what's easy and start embracing what actually works. Bands can warm you up. Weights will break you down and build you back up better. Let's talk about safety, because this one gets twisted fast. People love to claim that resistance bands are safer than weights, and on the surface, that sounds true. Sure, you're not going to crush your foot if you drop a band, but that illusion of safety can make you lazy. Bands are forgiving, and that forgiveness kills your discipline. With real weights, every rep matters. You can't just flop around with a barbell and expect to walk away unscathed. You're forced to dial in your form, brace your core, stabilize your joints, and respect the process. That's where true control comes from. Bands, on the other hand, let you get sloppy. The resistance isn't fixed, and the movement can get shaky without you even noticing. You're not being challenged to the same degree. And over time, that relaxed mindset can bleed into every part of your training. And here's the real kicker: progress with bands is almost impossible to quantify. You think you're getting stronger, but are you really? One day the band feels tight, the next it doesn't. Maybe you moved your feet a little, maybe the angle was off. You're guessing. That's not training, that's hoping. Meanwhile, free weights give you numbers. You benched 185 for 5 last week? Cool, go for 6 this time. That's trackable growth. That's how you build size that stays. Bands might give you a temporary pump, but barbells give you real, brutal, lasting muscle. And that's what we're here for. Let's clear something up. Just because a movement looks functional doesn't mean it builds functional strength. That word gets thrown around way too casually. Real-world strength isn't about copying the motion of lifting a grocery bag with a resistance band. It's about preparing your body to move heavy, awkward, and unpredictable loads when life throws them at you. Think about it. When you're dragging a couch across the floor or carrying 2 overloaded grocery bags up the stairs, you're not feeling band tension, you're feeling gravity. And the only way to train for that kind of demand is by moving real weight. Barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells, they train your grip, your posture, your coordination, and your raw power all at once. That's functional. That's useful. And then there's the idea that bands are better for stabilizer muscles. Seriously? Try doing a heavy dumbbell bench press or a loaded split squat and tell me your stabilizers aren't working overtime. With free weights, your body is constantly fighting to stay in position while under stress. That's controlled instability, where you're forced to stabilize through strength. Bands, on the other hand, often throw in chaotic tension from weird angles, making your form shaky, not stronger. It turns into a battle to stay upright instead of building deliberate, transferable control. If you want real-world stability, stop playing tug-of-war with elastic. Load up a bar, move with purpose, and teach your body to hold its ground under pressure. If you're getting value from this, hit like and subscribe. It seriously helps me keep bringing you the no BS truth. There's something primal about standing under a loaded barbell. Your breath slows, your grip tightens, and in that moment, you either rise to the challenge or crumble under it. That kind of pressure sharpens your mind like nothing else. You're not just lifting, you're locked in, focused. There's a seriousness that comes with heavy lifting that bands simply don't demand. Looping a band around your foot and repping out some presses doesn't ignite that same fire. It doesn't demand the same presence. It feels casual. And that's the problem. Growth, mental and physical, happens in discomfort, not ease. When you're grinding through a heavy lift, there's no room for distraction. You either conquer the weight or it owns you. That mindset? That's where discipline is forged. And discipline feeds into progress. Real, tangible progress. The body grows when it's pushed consistently and intentionally. That's the principle of progressive overload, and it's non-negotiable if you're serious about results. Resistance bands can be challenging, but they're also unpredictable. The tension changes depending on how far you stretch, how you stand, or even how fast you move. That kind of variability makes tracking progress a nightmare. With weights, it's simple. Add a few pounds. Squeeze out another rep. Week after week, you push the envelope and your body adapts. That's how you break plateaus. That's how you build something that lasts. If you're not applying that pressure, you're just moving, you're not actually training. Social media is flooded with shredded physiques and bold claims. I built this body with just resistance bands. Sounds tempting, right? But here's what they're not telling you. Most of those physiques weren't sculpted with stretchy rubber. They were built under barbells long before the band content started rolling in. What you're seeing is the highlight reel, not the reality. It's marketing. And while bands make for easy travel content or quick at-home workouts, they aren't the reason those muscles exist. They're just the garnish used to maintain, not build. If you're trying to grow, to actually transform your body, don't get hypnotized by the hype. Bands can add variety. They can plug in during rehab, but they were never meant to carry the full load of your progress. Now, if bands are all you've got, fine. Use them smart. Push yourself with tempo, angles, volume. Make the most of what you have, but don't mistake them for a complete system. They're tools, not the toolbox. You want real gains? You need structure. You need load. You need something that forces your body to adapt week after week. Free weights give you that. You know exactly what you lifted, and you know exactly what you're chasing next. That clarity creates results. Bands might keep you in the game, but weights will take you to the next level. That's how real physiques are built, not through shortcuts, but through consistent, relentless pressure that leaves no room for guesswork. At some point, you've got to make a decision: are you chasing comfort or are you chasing progress? Resistance bands are easy to romanticize. They're convenient, they feel productive, and they give just enough tension to trick you into thinking you're crushing it. But if you want real change, you've got to be brutally honest with yourself. Are you training or are you just moving? True transformation demands more than effort. It demands intention. The kind of results that last don't come from shortcuts or trendy hacks. They come from putting your body under pressure it's not ready for and showing up again when it still hurts the next day. That's not glamorous, and it doesn't look great on a 30-second reel. But that's where the magic is. This isn't about hating bands. It's about refusing to water down the truth. If bands are all you have, then give them everything. But if you have access to real weight and you're still choosing the path of least resistance, ask yourself why. The iron doesn't lie. It keeps score. And every time you step under a bar, you're either getting better or getting exposed. If you're tired of spinning your wheels, stop settling for half measures. Get uncomfortable. Lift heavy. Grind through the hard reps. Build something that actually lasts. This is where strength is forged: in the struggle, in the sweat, and in the decision to stop playing it safe and finally start training like you mean it.